Senator Kelly, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Honey, during our recent meetings, we discussed the risk to national security created by America's reliance on foreign-made microelectronics, including microchips. As you know, this is a major concern of mine, and countries like China are investing heavily to try to outcompete us, which is why I've been working with my Republican and Democratic colleagues to ensure our nation has the resources it needs to increase American microelectronics manufacturing and development. I led the effort to include $52 billion in the competitiveness bill towards this goal, with $2 billion allocated for efforts within DoD. And I appreciated your opening comments about the need to leverage research from experts across academia, industry, and DoD. And in your written responses to the committee, you indicated strong support for the establishment of a national network for microelectronics research that can bring those three parties together. In your view, what are the advantages of having academia and industry working in direct partnership with the Department of Defense as the national network model proposes?
Senator, I thank you for your support in microelectronics and for these types of initiatives. My support for this and my interest in it actually stems from my previous experiences at DARPA, having run a very similar type of effort in optoelectronics, where we did bring together industry, academia, and the department to solve some very profound challenges over a number of domains in optoelectronics. And so having seen that before and the tech transition and the impact that that has had on the commercial world, and to then feed back new capabilities to the department that we could get out of the commercial world, I believe that this area of microelectronics is ripe for this type of activity again.
Well, thank you. And can you explain a little bit why domestic R&D, testing, production, and packaging is so critical for our nation's ability to leverage to the next generation of technologies?
Senator, yes, these, as you've just identified, these are a group of technology areas that are very important to have here onshore and available to our university students who are learning how to design and make parts that will feed into that part of the supply chain, and that's a part of the test environment. But it's also important for industry to have resources to go to when they face a production problem. I've had some experience in doing that previously when I was at Rome Lab in our test facility there, when some folks from industry in, again, the optoelectronics world faced challenges like that. They could come to us and leverage our expertise, and because we were working with so many different parts of industry and academia at that time, we were able to give them a much broader perspective on solving problems. And again, I think that activity would be replicated in this environment.
Could you give an example maybe of how currently when we need to test microelectronics and we have to do that offshore, why that is a risk to our national security?
Senator, these types of activities, when they're done offshore, are a risk because it exposes the intellectual property, it exposes circuit design, capabilities, and our intent when we do that, or there's the possibility of having that happening for certain. So having the ability to do that here in the U.S. gives us the ability to have those layers of protection that we need for our microelectronics that we're going to use in various applications in our weapon systems and other places as well.
And I want to highlight just for the record that some of that testing is done in China, which is not in the interest of our national security. Undersecretary Hsu has identified microelectronics as a priority modernization area for DoD. What are some of the challenges that the department will face going forward if we do not create a robust domestic manufacturing capability?
The challenges that I see, based on my experience at DARPA, my time in the Air Force, and working these issues, is that we have to have the ability to work at the leading edge. We need to be able to have security for our designs. We need to have the environments where our defense industrial base can collaborate with commercial partners on the leading edge and know that the intellectual property is properly being protected. And we need to be able to ensure that all parts of that ecosystem that we need to master we have the ability to do that here, or we've already seen the democratization and spread of technology and how that has impacted us. This is a way to help ensure that when we want to let that information out, we can, but when we need to protect it, we can keep it here in the U.S. as well.
Well, thank you, Dr. Honey, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.